Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you almost live from the Lonely Mountain in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it is the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 133. It is September 11th. I'm your host, Bill, all the way back and forth to Nova with no Concred Costello, and with me today,
all the way from the failed Geller Field, it's Joshua. I don't remember having that head. Alt.
All righty then. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, the new Kill Team dropped.
Oh, yeah.
Annual came out, and I read the Geller Pox Infected and just went, thank God I bought that when it came out.
I bought the new box.
Did you? Yeah, I thought about getting a second one, but I was reading it. It's like, I literally don't need anything else.
Yeah.
I freaking adore what they did with them because they are going to be scary on those boarding actions. I'm telling you right now.
Yes, they will.
Oh, the door opened up. Oh, there's a monster here. Oh, it killed me. Okay.
Yeah. We got to give Space Hulk a whole new meaning.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, Papa Nurgle says, welcome to my playground. Yeah. Kill Team, man. Ooh. Watch some of the game. Well, anyway, let's get into that later.
Yeah.
But, hey, apologize for the really long break, but we missed an entire month and plus, 11 days? So, yeah, said, literally life came up. I had so much travel to do, and then, of course, Nova came up, and, just myriads of things to do. I know you had trials.
Literal back-to-back jury trials.
Oh, gosh.
No break in between. Now I've got another jury trial in a week and a half, so, it just does not stop. And I just got assigned to a homicide, so.
Oh, goody.
That's going to trial in December or January. So.
Oh, boy. No rest for the wicked, right?
Yeah, right. The judge goes and tells my boss, you need to put Josh on this. She puts me on it. So there you go. Yeah, it's crazy doing the professional stuff on top of it. But we're back, and actually I think we've got had a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to start throwing down.
Yes. We have lots of things to talk about and announce. And as Elric once stated long ago, that the show that comes up after Nova is just the Bill show, because he just goes on and on. Yeah, so expect a lot of that. I do want to throw out a real quick, the Queen lies dead. Long live the king. So, yeehaw. Condolences out to the royal family. Yada, yada, yada. So, it's really funny. I'm 58 years old, and this is going to be my first coronation to watch. And I'm just like, that lady, 70 freaking years. I mean, 96, but she was in charge for a lot of that.
She really was.
70 years as queen. She passed Vicky in the 90s, I think.
Yep.
So, wow.
Yeah, it's an interesting time, historically speaking, and the memes are just savage right now.
Oh, some of them are off the hook. Just, whatever you think of the monarchy, I don't give a shit. It's fun to watch, and I truly love actually seeing something like a daytime soap opera playing out in real life.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, to me, they're just funny.
Yeah.
And as long as they're not sucking up taxpayer money, which they stopped doing years ago, I could really give a crap what they do. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, have fun, screw each other, move to America, whatever it takes. Just live your best life. You're
right, folks.
Just people. So, obviously, the Nova Open is complete. Didn't get the con crud for the first time. I've gone to a con and come back and not even felt bad for a day. So I was kind of happy. They did have a mask mandate at Nova, which was the cause of a lot of consternation. I understand. Yeah. And I completely agree with those people who were angry that masks were required when the state of Virginia doesn't require masks. The hotel didn't require masks. Only Nova required masks. And I think the only really bad part of that was that they came out with that mandate after the refund period was over for tickets.
Yeah, that's the only problem I have with it, right? I think a mask mandate, particularly when you have a bunch of people going to be in a single location, traveling from all different places all around the world.
Yeah.
Masks are probably a safe bet, but to do it after the refund period,
That was-
I can give a crap what,
That was dirty.
crazy
pool.
anti-maskers think,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'll wear a mask to go play games and have fun, but it should not have been after the refund period. That was not good.
I don't hold any umbrage against those people that didn't go based on that. That was kind of a whoopsie. So, but it was still Nova. It was still a con. It was still amazing. Gamers are not the most hygienic folks to be
Yes.
around. And, it's, you always get that thing. You go to a con and you can almost guarantee that for a day or two afterwards, you're going to kind of feel you were exposed to so much stuff. And this time, nothing. And I was just like, okay, I didn't wear my mask all the time. Like when you were in the gaming spaces, you had to wear the mask. When you were out in the hallways and, the floors, you didn't have to.
Yep.
So, but still, it obviously had some good effect. So I'm happy. I'm not going to touch on that. Forget it. I don't want to talk about it. What I do want to say is I'm so pissed.
Yeah.
My amazing Zoom N4 recorder decided to take an absolute dump at Nova. I tested it before I left to make sure everything was working and I remembered how to use it. I packed microphones and cords and everything else. And by the time I get there, it's not recording. It will not record. So I ended up having to contact Zoom and I sent it back to them for repairs. The guy thinks he knows what's wrong. The version I have, the serial number I have is from a lot. He said that one of the contacts on the inside breaks and the switch doesn't make the right contact. So I don't know, but no interviews from Nova. Some of you are screaming happy. But I would have liked to have interviewed some of the folks there, but didn't. I do want to go over the GT results for some of the major GTs, and talk about where the hobby is as far as parity might go. Without further ado, and before I make commentary, the 40K GT, did you see who won that?
No.
Necrons.
Oh, yeah. No, I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah, and in the top 10, there is 1, 2, 3 Necron players. So, yeah, Necrons are broke in this edition because their book came out real early and now they suck. Number 2 was Ulthwee, which is Eldar. They're also broken after the nerfs came out. They can't play really in this environment. So.
No, definitely not. No,
Yeah.
they've been nerfed into oblivion.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of nerfs, hard nerfs, the army basically can't play anymore. The Tau Empire came in 4th.
Oh.
So, and then you had Imperial Knights, Adeptus Sororitas, Thousand Sons, Tyranids, again Tau, and again Necrons. Harlequins came in 11th. So, yeah, there's no parity in 40K. Let's see. Kill Team, I just call out the winner there, John Reese with his Pathfinders. So, yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was good to see.
Yep.
I think things will change with Into the Dark, but
I think so. I think, that's going to shake things up a little bit and, more power to it. So a lot of different things represented. You had Orc Commandos in 8th, Warp Coven in 9th, Novitiates in 10th, Vet Guardsmen in 2nd and 3rd, Pathfinders again in 4th, Hunter Clade in 5th. So, a lot of good spread there. Let's see here. The Age of Sigmar Invitational. Now, this is just the Invitational. This is, you had to have an invite.
yeah.
So I didn't go. So that actually was taken by Jeremy Vessier and Fire Slayers. So
I saw that. I was so stoked.
yeah, it just goes, Jeremy is a perennial top player.
Yes.
And when you put an army like that in the hands of a really good driver, they're going to get results.
Oh, it's like Vincent Tom said when the book first dropped, that like your success with Fire Slayers is your ability to stack or rotate, once per battle abilities.
Yep.
And if you're playing at that next level and you know how to do it, Fire Slayers are ridiculous.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen his game because it would have been a clinic,
Oh yeah, particularly because he ran Greyfeared.
Yeah.
Like I honestly would have expected Lofner up there. It was really cool to see Greyfear to actually go up to the top. But again, that's playing at another level.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Lofner actually did come in third.
Yeah.
Because Fire Slayers were first and third. Caleb Walters came in with his Big Wah in second.
I love that. Like
Yep.
Big Wah was kind of, people were a little down on it.
Yeah.
You know, they're saying they're like, why just play Iron Jaws? You know, but Big Wah gives you a few extra tools. Plus, you still get your Mighty Destroyers and stuff like that. I mean, I think it was good.
Yeah. Coming in fifth was Seraphon. Gavin Gregar. Coming in sixth was Sons of Behemoth.
Love it.
Ridge Hanna. Joshua Bennett took Daughters of Cain to seventh. Jordan Duncan took Idoneth Deepkin also to seventh because they tied. So yeah, pretty good throw out through there. A lot of things you might not have expected. And then of course for the Age of Sigmar GT, we're looking at 273 players, of which I think there was 275, but I saw no results for the bottom two.
Okay.
So let's call it 273. They might have either dropped or they were just there as ringers, maybe.
Okay.
But here at the top, Caleb Walters won with his Disciples of Tzeentch. Yeah, I did not expect to see that.
I didn't expect to see him show up either.
Okay, so next up was Nicholas Walters with his Iron Jaws. Gavin Gregar came in third with Seraphon. Jiwan Singh with Beast of Chaos in fourth.
Oh, I was so happy to see that. I was so freaking happy.
Yeah.
And I think Beasts of Chaos were like, what, top 12 in the Invitational or something like that? I can't remember.
Let's see here. Yeah, they were 11th. Yeah, they came in 11th in the Invitational. So they're not exactly out of the game.
Beasts are here, baby.
Yeah. I think when you look at this list, okay, number 5 was Marcella Hilu with Daughters of Cain.
Yep.
Xanthar Kane, go figure. Number 6 was Skaventide, Jacob Brandon.
My boy.
Jeremy Vessier came in 7th with Daughters of Cain. So he obviously swapped out the Fire Slayers for Daughters. He was Hagnar. Bill Hennessy came in 8th with Sylvaneth. Like I said, they do not play in this edition well.
Yeah.
So they're useless. So,
I think they are.
Oh,
I don't know why you spent all that money on them.
I don't know. This guy is just obviously an aberration.
Yeah.
Because my opinion counts. Yeah, right. So congratulations, Bill. Cities of Sigmar came in 9th with Nick Rao. And Calvin Rary bringing up Bone Splitters, Drackfoot in 10th. So awesome spread of armies. Just amazing to see.
Oh, yeah.
And, once again, I say that there's no parity. Everything in AOS is broken right now, and the battle pack is terrible. And, yeah, it's just the state of the game is horrible.
Yeah. Why would you play any of those, those armies, particularly like Fire Slayers or Beasts of Chaos? They can't do anything in this edition.
Exactly. They can't win anything big.
Okay, so they won the Invitational, but they didn't win the Open. So. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good argument. Okay.
Fire Slayers win with the top players, but they don't win with everyone else. Is that what that argument would be?
Yeah, okay.
Whatever. I am so happy to see that spread, to see things that no one thought would really be up there, that fanboys hoped and prayed would be up there.
Yeah.
But it's good to see this spread across all of it. I would say a lot of veteran guardsmen in the kill team top 12. Yeah. That was a thing, but it's kind of like where I think it currently is just the amount of activations you get, the amount of, shots you can fire. Like with Warcry, like if he can like throw volume of dice at someone and have a bunch of little dudes out activate, kind of like Necromunda too.
Yeah.
You're probably going to kill your opponent. I don't know if you're necessarily going to achieve the objective. I'll talk about my game here in a bit.
Sure. Yeah, it's a whole different, I think we have a tendency to overreact to certain things. And I know we're guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. I do want to clarify. And a couple of listeners actually came up to me and asked me about the battle pack and why I thought it was so. And I'm like, okay, I must have come across really, really wrong. I don't think this latest battle pack is not good. I think it's kind of a miss from the opportunity standpoint. They had to do other things.
Yeah.
And, like everybody says, we're now in the Purple Sun meta. And why is that? I thought we had grown up. I thought we had gone beyond these little, oopsie, we forgot about that little interaction. So I don't think the battle pack is bad. I think that whole bounty hunter versus, what's his name is really an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I just also think they could have done a hell of a lot more.
Agreed.
Or a hell of a lot different. So, and then somebody's going to say, well, what would you do? And I'm going to be like, I don't know. Make all battle lines free or something. I don't know. You know? So, yeah. But there it goes.
Skaven have no reinforcement points. They can just go as much as they want. All right, cool.
No, I don't
move
think
on.
that's a good rule at all. I think that's a stupid rule. Okay.
What if we didn't have access to GV, though? Like,
Yeah.
that way I couldn't have, 360 blocks of clan rats counting as 180 models for an objective.
Christ. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Anyway, yeah.
Moving on. So, yeah, I think that's it for the intro. We're just going to, let's jump into New Dawn.
Let's do it. We got a bit to cover.
Yeah, we're going to actually gloss over a lot of this stuff. I told people that we would stop covering 40 and 30K so much. But, you got to take what you get. It's a thing. So there was a preview show at Nova.
Yep.
I didn't make it.
You didn't make it to it?
No.
Lovely.
American Airlines can go. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what they can go do. So my trip out there was it wasn't American Airlines' fault. The weather in Dallas shut us down and basically gave us a 4-hour delay. So, and then when the delay was over, they only had like 6 hours to get my bag from one airplane to that airplane. They managed to not do that. So I didn't have luggage when I got there, which mostly I didn't really care about because I had hand carried what I thought was going to be my army for the show, and everything was with me. But my drugs, my insulin was in my main luggage, so I was getting a little upset. But they got it to me at 2 a.m. So yay. So I pretty much missed the preview show. Oh, but we will go.
Did you watch it later, though?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure did. And on the show, first up was literally a bunch of dwarves for 40K. Who gives a damn? I mean,
They were modeled after you, Bill. I don't know why you didn't.
short and fat, you're right. So they
Dangerous
basically.
over short distances.
Yeah. Very dangerous. They basically showed off the rest of the leagues of Votann, which it's that throwback to squats. And I've noticed they're very, very careful about never using the term squats.
Yep.
I don't know why, but okay, whatever. They're leagues of Votann. Fine. They are so cool looking.
They're definitely differentiating them, but they still have squats in Necromunda, right?
Yes, they
and
do.
and they call them squats.
Yes.
It's just what they're trying to do is like, hey guys, the story developed over the last 1,000 years. Right?
And I think they're trying to separate the two.
Yeah.
The leagues are completely different.
Correct.
So just the aesthetic on those guys is so cool. And of course,
Yeah.
they are, I think these are going to be the faction that all the Adeptus Mechanicus players wish they were in.
Probably.
Because, the Adeptus Mechanicus is still, they haven't innovated in 10,000 years. Whereas the leagues are like, yeah, no, our bikes actually hover. We can go over water. We're really cool. Just little things, they're just so. And as it stands right now, they are definitely broken. They're definitely OP. So we'll just have to see how they shuffle out from the reveals that they're doing and the drops and hints. You know how it is when they drop those hints. They drop them completely out of context. So you look at a unit and just go, oh, my God. It's like the Tau with the railgun. Oh, my God. 72-inch range and just deletes on a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not exactly how it works. So we'll see what it looks like when the book comes out and the army box comes out. Now, you have a feeling that it's going to be next week's pre-order?
We're going to find out in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my gut because we're in September now. They said it's coming in September and that you're going to have, the full official book outside of the army box.
Yep.
Coming shortly thereafter.
Right.
So, I mean, I just want all of the Hearthguard, the 5-man termy looking guys.
Yeah.
I just want all of them running up the board, angry, shooting and slicing, and some berserks and the land fortress. And if you do it right, if you build them right, you can use them for Karajan Overlords.
Karajan Overlords. That's, everybody I was talking to was like, these are going to be such good Arcanauts.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, really, when you look at it, it's not going to be a real stretch.
Nope.
And I was talking to Emma Mangles, and she's got her whole Legion of Asgore.
Yep.
And she's seriously thinking about putting balloons on some of those guys and, just kind of dolling them up so that she can run them as KO. And we were just looking at it going, it's going to be super easy. A lot of her heavy equipment, she either just says, hey, that's a gunship, and boom, it's a gunship. Or, tie a couple of the balloon pieces to it and move on, and there it is. Now it's your gunship, or now it's your cruiser. So it's a beautiful army. It is truly Legion of Asgore. Mm-hmm. And I think she's going to tweak that into KO and be really cool. So yes, all this 40K stuff does have application to AOS. So let's move on.
Yes.
Leagues of Votann are cool and chicks dig them. Warhammer Underworld really is looking at the Gore Chosen of Drama. It's a 3-man warband. 3-man.
Yeah, they look mean.
Yeah.
They look straight up mean. They are going to be so brutal.
Yeah. With only 3 guys, each one of them is going to have to make an impact, and losing one of them is going to hurt. So
I think it's going to be hard to lose them.
yeah, I believe so.
They'll have like 4 and 5 wounds, I think.
Yeah. And they have these great mechanics of either bringing you to them or them going to you.
Yep.
So they're going to have some serious movement shenanigans, and I can almost guarantee their cards are going to be doubling down on that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, just the stuff that they previewed.
yeah.
And they look amazing. I like how we're getting a idea of how one guy's like essentially a proto Korgorath.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
he's maybe partially going to become one. I don't know. They look amazing.
Yep.
But that wasn't all because those are going to AOS too.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about having a blood priest. God, dramas. So cool.
Yeah. Those models fit into so many of the different aesthetics. We're going to have a blast with that one.
And then AOS, God, they dropped.
Oh,
they're like
man.
a triple feature for us. So the big one, and I love the first 2 we're going to talk about, are prefacing new books coming out.
No way.
Right? So excited. So we got the Blood Pelt Hunter.
Oh, my.
First time we've seen it in plastic other than the Underworlds model.
Yeah.
God, they gave him some character.
Oh, well, I mean, screw the character. They gave him weapons everywhere. He's got harpoons, the crossbow. He's got swords, axes, blades. I mean, dude's ready to hunt.
Yeah, but I like how they differentiate him from the other ones because he still has parts of the monsters instead of just eating them.
Yep.
Right? I absolutely love that. He has this really interesting look that just makes him stand out, which he's supposed to because they talk about him being more of a loner.
Yeah.
I thought his sculpt was great. And he's the preface to Ogor tribes finally getting their update.
God, I hope so.
Dear God.
Hope so.
Next up, we had the man himself, King Broad. Been talking about this forever. He's coming out as a priest. I was like, they need one. They need a priest. Why don't they have it? They're more shamanic in a way. Their destruction. It would only make sense. Here comes King Broad swinging like, what is it? A pillar tied to a tree. It's just, it's everything you thought some giant oaf would swing around. And he's actually a reference to the old world.
Yes, he is a direct throwback. And I gotta throw Mad. I think the intro video for that reveal was one of the best.
Yep.
Just because, I mean, it was just weird animation. It wasn't, oh my God, that's so photorealistic. No, it was just the narration was the whole backstory of why he hates Stormcast so much. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then introducing the little dudes that are calling all around on him.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
Yep.
So great drop. Single models for now.
Yes.
For Ogor tribes and Sons of Behemoth.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how they're going to up the ante for him going into the new edition.
Yeah, what's really nice is, he is a direct replacement for Karatakos, the guy that came out in the book. Kragnos, that guy. I keep getting him mixed up with the OCR guy. Oh, this is what happens to your brain on drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Unless they're prescribed.
Yes.
So, yeah, King Broad looking solid.
Very.
And then we got the Slaves to Darkness army box. We're going to be getting the 3-pack of Ogroids. We got the new Demon Prince. That's where he's going to be launching.
What
So-
a waste. Oh my god.
I tell you, people are going to be buying that for 40K just to get him.
Yes.
And the Chaos Warriors, Jesus, they look so good. Not the Warriors, sorry, they're the Chosen, right, for AOS.
Yeah.
God, it all looks great. The sculpts are certainly updated from what they were before. I am stoked to the max about it. And of course, it'll come with the special limited edition book.
Yes. So definitely a much needed update to Slaves to Darkness. So yay. All I can say is yay for that.
Now, sort of, and we have to just talk about it. We're moving away from that. Horus Ascended, 30K model, revealed. Holy crap. I don't care who you are, what your favorite game is. That is a beautiful model.
And if you just look at the Horus model and then see what they took that as the basis and then said, okay, now he's thrown in with Chaos Gods. Here's what he is now. And everything, even down to the detail of the wolf pelt cloak, basically starting to decay.
Yes.
Starting to, rot from the pure chaos energy. It's just over the freaking top. And oh yeah, it's a thing.
It is.
It's
It's
a thing.
beautiful model. We can't do it justice with words. Just go look at it.
Yeah, just go take a look at it online. It's Horus Ascended. It is everything that when you read the books, that's the dude that you see in your mind's eye.
Yes, exactly.
So, beautiful. Just beautiful.
40K got the Corn Berserkers, and I'm a World Eaters fan. I can't wait for them. I gotta be honest, I wasn't too thrilled. Like, they didn't come out to me like this powerful, like, these are Berserkers. I expected to see some bare arms. I expected them to be bursting out of their armor. They're just kind of slightly corned up Chaos Legionnaires.
Yeah, I just I'm not going to call it a miss, but I certainly expected more of a visceral approach to, this should be a dude popping out of his Space Marine armor, his Ceramite armor, because he is so jacked.
Yeah.
He doesn't hit me as a berserker. He hits me as just a big corn guy.
Right?
So I don't know.
Real brief aside. I know we got a lot to cover, but a brief aside. When I was young, I had this friend. I'm still friends with her. But she had this Cornhuskers like shirt that she hung on her wall. I think it was from like her cousin or something like that. And the way they drew it is just this dude has monstrous arms and sort of like a tinier lower body, right? Monstrous arms. And I was looking at it and I was like, oh my goodness. They're just saying that that's what they're built like. It's those corn-fed Cornhusker guys. That's what I wanted to see with, these Berserkers is that, they still have pieces of armor strapped to them, but most of it's gone. Because it's just,
exactly.
they berserked in.
Yeah. They grew up
So,
and out.
Corn Berserkers could have been better. The Kill Team box set Into the Dark dropped.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. The terrain in there is the best part of it. I mean, the models are great. Absolutely great.
Oh, you mean there's models in that
Yeah,
box?
yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah, I thought it was a terrain box too at first. You get some crude if you like Dirty Towel, but
Hey, out of the pool.
the terrain's ridiculous. So easy to paint.
So ridiculous. And as a quick aside, if you run out to YouTube, I believe it's Tabletop Tactics has a great video on how to make it. The way this terrain works is it's totally modular. It has it has these pegs basically that when you build a wall and you put the end cap on the wall, it holds it together. And, Naomi does a video where she shows you once she's built the whole thing, the setup for one of the scenarios, you can pick it up in one hand and hold the entire terrain set up and, just move it around and it doesn't fall apart.
Exactly.
However, Tabletop Tactics does have a video on how to make it go together because it's a tight fit.
Yeah.
And he's got a video on how to make it a little looser, and it's literally just sanding the tabs down. And I think I'm going to do that rather than, I don't care about being able to move the terrain with one hand. I'd much rather have it fit together easy. So, But yeah, the terrain is amazing. And like you said here, it doubles as Necromunda terrain. It's Zone Mortalis for 30K. It's everything.
So if you wanted to do like a solid boarding action 30K style game, man, if you just get enough of those, you can make an entire like table. Like not just the not just the board it comes with, but entire table.
Yeah.
Boarding action. Holy crap. Like I'm stoked for that.
If you combine this with a couple of kits that have come out, especially the Necromunda walls and what have you kits, yeah, you could do a Zone Mortalis board inside of 30 minutes, have it all built and ready to go. I mean, not hobby-wise building, but actually setting up a table for a game.
You want the spiciness. I was thinking about getting enough of the forts and creating a prison that's run by the enforcers and having to do a jailbreak on like the boss or something. Right?
Sick.
Because you could easily use those for prisons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. It's just, that's how great this terrain is. I'm going to make a brief comment. I want that terrain, that style terrain in AOS.
Yes.
I want to go dungeons.
Yes.
Right? And we could talk about that a little bit more with narrative stuff. But
we started with Catacombs, and they kind of gave you a half sort of nod to it. But yeah, give us something that we can play inside.
Yeah, Catacombs was the arena of Warcry, the Kill Team arena of Warcry, when you had like the doors and stuff, and you had little pitfalls and things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like Into the Dark is next level, right? Oh. Now we need dungeons, right? Yep. I want to play Diablo freaking 3 Warhammer style, so I can get my heroes, have them go through with 3 other people, and just try and fight all the mobs to get to the boss at the end.
Oh yeah,
like. Your
bloodthirster doesn't fit through the door, so leave him at home.
Exactly.
Yeah, this could really play into the new battle pack too, with nothing but battle line. We could have a lot of fun with that. That's something to look at.
Something to talk about a little later too.
Yes, we will.
Middle Earth strategy battle game. A lot of armies. Oh my goodness.
Orders. And in fact, yesterday was the pre-order for the new Osgiliath box.
Yep.
Which I ordered to no avail because I know it'll be April before I see it. So whatever. But I did order it just to say I did. If you want to hear more of my GW order rants, stay tuned to After Dark. Super awesome box with the new rule book, which isn't much of a change. It's not a new edition. It's just going to have all the clarifications and facts and everything baked into it. So super great starter set. I do want to throw a huge oh my God, kudo out to ADB for the Siege of Terra book. Oh my flippin' Lord, is that it's vintage ADB. He just captures that book. So if you read nothing else in the Siege of Terra series, read this book. It is so good. And it's Blood Angels, so obviously I'm going to dig it, but wow, just so good. So good. They did announce that the final book, they're having a little bit of Hobbit syndrome here. The final book in the Siege of Terra series is going to be 2 books. So the final book is Volume 1 and Volume 2. Anyone say money grab? No,
There's just so much in there that they have to make sure they do it right, because if they don't do it right.
And they got to tie up every storyline. And I mean, this is literally the end of the Horus Heresy. And when you look at how it started, and how it has to end, because we all know how it ends. That's not the point, is tying up these different storylines that have started throughout Siege of Terra.
I'd say this, right? We know somewhat of what happens at the end.
Yes. We have the unreliable narrator's point of view. Now
which
we're going to get a book.
Like the Emperor strikes down Horus. What I'm hoping for, Bill, is that when they're doing the fight between the Emperor and Horus, that it's happening on multiple planes of existence. If it's written that way, I will just melt. I mean, I am so excited for what this could mean. And like, the thing is, it's a chance for them to like seriously open the doors for all the things that are coming now in 40K.
Yep.
Right. Cause it's not just, all right. So Horus kills Sanguinius and the Emperor kills Horus, but he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of what we know.
Yeah.
Right. But if we get more to it, it wasn't like Horus died and then like all the chaos was just like, all right, out, just gone.
We're done now, bros. We're done. Yeah, no, there was a cleansing of imperial space.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hoping the reason it's 2 books is, the first book may just be the lead up to the fight, and they will probably put the big fight in the second book if you're looking at how to sell books. Or they could put it at this book, and then the second book is going to be all of the things. Rogel Dorn taking the Emperor's body back. And how did the Golden Throne actually work? What was that all about? What did it do to him in those first moments? That could lead to the whole, what's the story with the Emperor's accession? Is he going to go become a god one day? Is the Star Child thing truth? Are the Grey Knights really, do they have a button that's just going to turn that thing off?
Yeah.
There's so many open holes. I really hope they don't close too many of them, because, if we don't have something to debate, what's the fun? But they really have this opportunity to even set the stage for Gilliman in the 40K universe.
Yep.
And how he spent, a couple of days talking to Dad, and Dad filled him in on a lot of things.
Yep.
So maybe we're going to see a little bit of that, and what was held back, and what was, I know Rogel Dorn there's one conspiracy theory that says he put Horus on the throne, and who knows? So
A lot of answers coming through.
Yeah.
Shut down the conspiracy theories, please.
Yep.
And then, I don't know, there's just so many ways this could go. Like the Emperor being wounded, but maybe he only struck down Horus's physical form.
Sure.
And so he's endlessly doing battle with him.
Yeah.
For the last 10,000 years in the warp. Like
Yep.
so many things. So many things.
We can just conjecture until we see the book, and that is going to be a primo book.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great.
Anyway, also that came out for AOS was the Arcane Cataclysm book. So that's Lumineth versus what was it? Lumineth versus Tzeentch. Yeah. So I'm an idiot. I bought it, just to have the Lumineth stuff, and I haven't opened it yet. But I know there's a lore book in there, so I'm kind of interested to see and dive into that lore.
Yeah. I was thinking about just trying to get the lore book from someone else who bought it.
Yeah.
I mean, like the singular Tzeentch model thing is really cool.
Yeah.
I really like that. I just wasn't impressed, wasn't thrilled about it.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm
not
like, oh, great, Lumineth gets their third book.
Yeah, it's not a wow, look.
Yeah.
Kind of box, but have to have it. And then also the Thondia Terrain separates came out.
Thank God.
So yeah, for a lot of people that was, they're not going to spend all that money to get the Incarnate. Now you can buy an Incarnate.
Yep.
So, and the terrain is really nice too. I mean, that terrain is really gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely worth looking at those separates if you didn't want to buy the book. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll go into the pre-orders, the Sunday pre-orders, because we may have foreshadowed some of it.
I mean, I'll just say I was right.
Yeah, there you go.
Make sure you join us tonight for the news at 11.
And as the lady said, it's 11 o'clock, and we now know what's coming for pre-order next week.
Leagues of Votann, like I said.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Had a feeling. Got
Okay.
a feeling it was coming out. The timing's right. We'll probably get their actual release outside of this. Probably going to pre-order last weekend of September if I'm going to guess correctly. And oh boy, Bill, I've never been excited to spend probably about $500.
Jesus.
It's going to be two boxes for me if I can. So you get the 20 basic troops, you get the champion, you get the call, which can also be I forget his name, something the Destined.
Yeah.
You get 3 of the bikes. From what I can see, probably going to want about 6 bikes, maybe more depending on sort of how the meta shapes up. But then you get all the punch cards for the judgment tokens because these dwarves be petty. You get the special book, you get the transfers, you get the cards. So
Yeah.
it is everything you're going to want to start the army and more. You got the tactical rocks that look like Swiss cheese ready to go. I mean, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time for this. We already knew it was going to be in the box because they've talked about it already.
Yeah, they've really spoiled this one hard. But
So we don't need to go terribly too far into it, but
Nope.
this is going to be where it goes. I can only imagine how much judging you're going to do, which people call me a judgy expletive outside of in my social life. So
okay, well, there you go.
look at someone and be like, man, his eyes are too far apart. Dude.
Dude, are you really wearing that out to a store?
Right? It's not even really outfits. It's just like, why does your face look like that? Oh, okay. No.
Wow.
All right. So,
Judgy.
yeah, Leagues of Votan coming in hard, and it must be my weekend next weekend, because we're also getting Necromunda expansions, the Goliath Maulers, those totally awesome, like kind of trike looking things. Well, it's got a track on the back, but you can have a big wheel in the front, or you could just have a grinder, like a meat grinder on the front. The Maulers, those are coming out along with what I'm really excited for, Cinderac Burning. It's a new campaign book for Necromunda. In fact, our local Necromunda group, the arbitrator was saying that he wasn't going to start up until this book came out.
Nice.
And in fact, he's already blowing up the Discord as we talk. I just keep getting the notifications. He's like, oh my God, there's all kinds of dice. It's going to be amazing. The cards and yep. So Necromunda is going to get a breath of fresh air.
Yep.
With the new launches, Middle Earth Strategy Battle Game, Old Bilbo. That is a rough looking sculpt.
Yeah, that's old Bilbo Baggins. I think they could have done the face a little bit better.
That's the old. Yeah, that's made to order. He's probably metal.
I don't know.
Or resin.
I don't know. Let's see what it says here. And it doesn't say really in the article, but yeah, it's the old made to order. So
yeah, it's nothing to write home about.
okay, so a big one though, the 20th anniversary edition of Graham McNeil's Nightbringer is coming out with the super cool cover, and that's a really good book. Even if you don't love Ultramarines, it's Earl Ventress. It's a great story.
He's an interesting character regardless.
Yeah, it's a good, it's a really neat fight up against the Jakari. So, and it's been sort of hinted at in some different games, but who knows? And then we're getting a Vorbis Conspiracy Warhammer crime novel. So if you're into those, stay tuned.
Yeah, it's the actual anthology.
Yeah.
So it's going to have a bunch of the crime novels. They're all pretty good.
7 of them.
Yeah, I've the ones I've read, I'm like, these are decent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Then you got the Throne of Light in German. And then the Warhammer Plus stuff, we're going to get a battle report. It's going to be Leagues versus Orcs.
Looks like it.
Then we got How to Paint Red Armor, some more stuff hitting the vault. So it's light in terms of content, but the content is
quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's
deep bench, it's not wide.
Yeah,
this next pre-order.
It's Leagues and Necromunda. So.
My wife's going to kill me.
Yeah, well, you only live twice.
Well, I'll make sure to leave my models to you in my will, Bill.
Oh, would you? Thank you. Because I need more.
Yeah. I figured you would. I mean,
yeah,
you'll find a good home for it. And that's the news at 11.
Yeah, it was. Good news. So let's jump into creation, and I will go first since the sum total is nothing. So no, quite literally in the last month, between traveling and then Nova and all that stuff, I have no creation to talk about, and I won't bore you with the Legion and MCP stuff I did. So I do, however, want to. I have been building Smog, the Forge World Resin Dragon, and yeah, he's a joy. He's a complete joy. No, actually, I had a real issue with the tail, and I had put the tail on before I went to Nova. When I got back from Nova, the tail was sitting on the desk, and I was like, well, that's different. The only thing I can think of is I used epoxy and pins. The only thing I can think of is I had some either grease or mold release that I didn't get off where the joint was, and the epoxy just didn't stick. So I had to clean it all up and redo it. So,
Yep.
Ho-hum, one step forward, 2 steps back. So, but his tail's back on now, and I have to tonight. Hopefully, I'm going to boil the wings and get them attached. This is not a model I'm going to leave the wings off to paint it. I am definitely going to put them on because it will not look good if I try to put them on afterwards.
Make sure Pam knows that you're boiling resin wings so she doesn't throw the extra chicken in there too.
Oh, yeah. Right. No. Luckily, I have my water pot here that I can boil. I don't have to worry about that. Ooh. I do also want to point out, if you can get yourself some of that UV resin, you can find this at craft stores, Michael's, or heaven forbid, Hobby Lobby. If you can find that UV resin and a UV resin curing light, it's really good at filling gaps.
Okay.
And making the different pieces fit, and it has that side benefit of the resin is a super strong glue as well. So like when I put the head on, no matter what I did shaving wise, I had this monster gap in his neck.
Yeah.
And putting resin in there in a couple of different layers actually glued it so solidly I didn't even need the epoxy. And plus, you know, once you're done and you have that final level, the UV resin is really nice and self-leveling.
Yep.
So it just goes on there and it just works. It's really good. So think about using it on your resin models. Also, one last thing for me, if you've been having issues with speed paints and reactivation, go out to YouTube, look up Juan Hidalgo, Juan Hidalgo. He has a fix for the reactivation, and it's literally just a question of mixing in contrast medium, GW contrast medium, into the speed paints. It does thin them out, so you might have to do more than one coat, but it also keeps them from reactivating. So, but watch his video to see how he does it and what the real effects are.
Interesting.
So, yeah, if you're anti GW contrast because they're expensive and you're all about speed paints, but you are having that activation issue, it's something to look into.
Yeah. Go buy some GW products.
Yeah. Fix it with GW stuff because it's better. Okay, right. Anyway. So turning over to you, Josh.
Creation. So I was able to do some things that was keeping me sane during my trial periods. So I built and painted an entire starting Cawdor gang. This is a combination of Cawdor and Redemptionists. So, I mean, just kind of, I don't remember every single model, but off the top of my head, paint a few Bone Pickers, which are the Juves. It's
Nose Pickers.
Yeah, exactly. Practically. Redemptionist Priest with Chain Axe with Exterminator is my main guy. He's got the book. I've got a Deacon with the Eviscerator. Eviscerators in Necromunda are chainsaws with flamethrowers attached to them. So...
Okay, that's really dumb.
It's so dumb. They also have like a bunch of template weapons involved. So anything that has what they call an Exterminator, it's a 15 credit upgrade. You get a one-shot flamethrower just once per game. You just that thing got flamed. Then in order to make great swords, because you can have great swords in there, and they have this rule called sever. And so if you would reduce the wounds to 1 or below, right? So like if you actually do the killing blow, instead of rolling injury dice, they're just taken out of action.
Yeah.
So you just run up and just cleave someone in half. So I bought Sisters Repentia in order to make them Cawdor great swords. And it's flipping perfect, Bill. It is amazing. That was a lot of fun to put. So I hate Cawdor in terms of the lore, like in terms of what they've done, because it's crazy, evangelical, driven to the grim dark, right? But I love the aesthetic when I put the models together.
Sure.
This is just so cool. Like I've got a shotgun strapped to a pole, strapped to a blade, and I just have a lever that's literally taped together to shoot a shotgun at someone.
Oh God.
Fantastic stuff. I even got a second box of the basic House Cawdor and the upgrade sprues because I'm like that serious. So then I hobby rescued a Keeper. I had like started painting it. I got maybe like a third of the way through when it first came out, when they first launched the new Keeper model.
Yeah.
So I went back, hobby rescued it. It's fully painted up. I'm trying to get some crystals that I can put on the base in certain areas just to give it a little extra something. I did built-in prime Shalaxi. I put a note here, prettier head sculpt used.
Yeah.
Because I cannot stand her headdress. The only head sculpt I like is the one with the horns down and the ponytail.
Yeah.
That's just my aesthetic.
Okay.
I finished painting the Storm Sword for $30K and entered that at the local paint contest. Then I built and primed Centurion Marshal and the Chaos Legionnaires from Warcry. I did fully paint the Marshal last night.
Yeah, I saw that update.
Yeah, and then I fully painted one of the Legionnaires this morning because I got up at 5:30 and couldn't get back to sleep. So
Damn.
I've only got 7 more models to paint. I'm going to pick up another box of them just because of the different weapon loadout combinations that you have. Because a lot of it's like, well, do I take maces or axes? And believe you me, like it's a tough one because the maces are higher base damage, lower strength.
Yeah.
So it's 3/5, 3 normal, 5 crit. But for strength, axes are 5 strength, 2 6, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, which one do I take? Like it's tough. It's an actual like conversation to have, and so I want the ability to be able to take what I want.
Around, yeah.
Plus the it has a similar effect on the basic troops, the horn shields, because you have a hand axe, hand mace, or sword. I don't think I'll ever take the sword. I think it's maybe 5 point. No, it's the same cost as maces, I think, and so it's like, why would I bother? But I love these models. They remind me of Dark Souls, like just little basic troop dudes, and then the Centurion Marshal would be one of those like mini bosses you go up against.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to paint with a really like dreary, toned down aesthetic. In fact, I'll post them on the Discord, and I don't think Bill's seen them, so I'll text them to him right now.
Okay.
But they're just a joy to paint, and I've got a pretty simple paint scheme using contrast and general methods as well.
Nice.
And then for the basing, it's sort of a take on what was it, Ulf taught us? With the gray basing.
Oh yeah.
But I'm doing it with like almost like an Incubi style thing. The first time it didn't go as well. The second time it went a lot better.
Cool.
So practice makes perfect. And
there you go.
if I was using the gray that Ulf taught us, probably be easier for me. But yeah, that was my creation.
Nice. You got stuff done.
I did. I'm probably going to try and, depending on if I have to replace our garbage disposal today,
Oh,
I
boy.
might try and paint the remaining 7 models today because I can paint them that quickly. Yep.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. They really do look like they're Dark Soul guys. Yep.
Yeah, just drawn down, dark. There's some like basic highlights. Carrick Stone was a very handy paint for this one, but the Marshal's just so cool looking.
I know.
His rules in AOS suck, but he's so cool looking.
I know. My God. Oh, so good. All right, let's flip over to do battle. I'm going to hold my battle off for lore because it sort of folds into the narrative.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. So why don't you go ahead and go?
Yeah, so I had 2 battles that I can speak of in the last few weeks. Nothing. That's practically since we started or took a break. My apologies. I know words. So a lot of my friends and stuff are going to be going to the Grand Narrative here in New Mexico. That's coming up in November. Unfortunately, I won't be able to due to family issues, but they wanted to practice for it, and so it's a narrative game. So narrative games are like by their very nature imbalanced. They have very interesting objectives. It's not just these secondaries and take and hold and am I gonna retrieve Nachman data and all that stuff, right? So with the one we did, we actually took it out of Vigilus Ablaze, I think it was.
Oh.
And so it was Chaos Demons. It was me with Slanesh, and then 2 friends. Another one had Slanesh, and the other one had Khorne Demons.
Oh, geez.
Right? We had 3 greater demons on the table. I had 2. So I went in thinking like, oh, we're going to play a 25 PL game, right? We're all going to bring 25 PL. Like, no, actually, we're all going to take 50. And I was like,
oh, schmuckers.
I was like, I don't have all that painted, but I think I have 50. I was able to squeak out 50 with, I probably had about 57, I think, total. But I squeaked it out. And that's why I had to bring Shalaxi and a Keeper of Secrets, which made up most of my force. Then it took 2 sets of 10 Demonettes, a Infernal Enraptress, and a Transweaver, which is the Herald on foot.
Yeah.
And we went up against a White Scars army with a Salamander ally.
Huh.
They both had 50. We had 50. And the map was we had a bomb in like sort of the back middle of our deployment, and they had to try and destroy it. And of course they can, it's narrative, so that way you don't have like a lot of the same restrictions. They can deploy any number off the board and stuff. So they deployed a bunch of things off the board, hoping that, maybe they can sneak in the back. And the problem is that we had to deploy as far forward as possible, which is half the board. So the bomb's exposed.
Yeah.
Right? So it starts out, and they have these blip tokens too. So like we don't even know what they're going to set up. We just set up and then they put their stuff down, which is fun. It's totally narrative because we get this warning alarm and then like we think some things are coming. So we all rush forward and then the forces drop in front of us and then we have to try and deal with it. Well, the White Scars player deployed on my side primarily. He did throw 5 assault intercessors with the Salamander guy. But over the course of 2 turns, Shalaxi and another Keeper destroyed 45 PL of White Scars.
Holy.
And they each took, it was funny because it balanced out, and it balanced out perfectly. They both took 8 wounds total fighting that many. And the map rule that was a special one because we rolled off for it is that when a model dies, you roll a dice on a 6, they get a fight or shoot.
Oh, jeez.
And so That's them essentially double tapping attacks at times against my keepers, right? Against Shalaxi and the Keeper of Secrets. And they still held up. It was redonkulous.
That's not broke.
No. In fact, the first thing I did, so Shalaxi, ridiculous movement. Like Slanesh's movement is stupid.
Yeah.
But I had deployed my Keeper of Secrets off the board, and then I used Shalaxi as the locust to summon her in 6 inches away from the Redemptor. Shalaxi did her first volume of attacks with just her spear and killed the Redemptor.
Oh, Jesus.
So it blew up and fought back.
Oh, Christ.
And like he rolled a 6. I'm like, oh my God, you actually get a blow up. Rolled a 5, rolled a 6, 3 mortal wounds on each.
Oh,
And then he's like, all right, roll to fight. 6. I'm like, what the crap, dude? Couldn't get through my demonic saves. But,
No.
But he did it. And then next turn, he was like, well, instead of trying to achieve the objective, which is destroy the bomb in the back, right? He decided to try and kill my keepers. And so all the stuff that he had in reserves, he just piled out to try and kill them.
Jesus.
So I was like, cool, I guess. And since it's narrative, when you have like your charge step and stuff like that, if someone charges, well, I guess I could still heroically intervene. So
Yeah.
towards the nearest enemy. So at one point, I just like moved up to his ATVs and just destroyed both of them.
Oh, God.
It was ridiculous.
Oh,
But yeah, just the amount of damage was insane. The other Slanesh player pulled off the Wombo combo where they ran up a bunch of their units, and how it's currently written is that whenever an enemy mod or enemy unit is within 6 inches of this unit, you subtract 1 from the leadership. So it counts for every single demonic unit near him. So 2 near it reduces leadership by 2. Then she hits him with this spell. I think it's Phantasmagoria. She rolls 6 dice for each 5 up. They take a mortal wound and subtract 1 from their leadership.
Jesus.
Then she hits them with the Cacophonic Choir. You roll 3d6 and compare it to their leadership, right? She did 2 mortal wounds. They had 2 demonic units, so they're -4 leadership, and then rolls 13 mortal wounds on a unit of aggressors.
Jesus.
Just done. That's what demons are doing right now. It was a fun game. It took a long time. Fire players, it takes a while. So if you're doing the grand narrative, folks, be ready to know your army list and try and move through it. But it's going to take time.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much going on. The other game I played was actually yesterday against Castillo at the shop. It was Warcry. It's been a while since I played Warcry. But this is a testament to how good the game is. It took me no time to remember.
Yeah.
And to just pick it back up. I was like, God, how do I do this? Check it real quick. Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, like, I had food that was like going to be ready in 15 minutes. And Andrew's like, you probably have time for a game. We completed it in 17 minutes.
Holy.
All 3 rounds. So I was only a couple minutes late. That was fantastic.
Nice.
But I was playing with the Iron Golems out of the starter set that was available at the shop. And then my opponent was playing the Untamed Beast, but he was bringing the Mindstealer's Pharynx with him. And the mission, because Warcry's weird like that. Like some of the missions are just imbalanced.
Oh, yeah.
But the one I had, which I thought was weird because I ended up having more models than him, even though I was Iron Golem, so I out-activated the Untamed Beasts.
Oh, geez.
But it was, you need to have one model wholly within one of the 4 quadrants, and whichever one that was that your opponent picked, you win the game. So I just had to spread out my models and made sure that I ended up in one of the quadrants, right? So, I mean, that was easy to do, but he brought the hard-hitting Spharynx and everything.
Yeah.
But the funny thing I did is he moved the Spharynx up, probably anticipating to try and kill a couple of guys, and then I just had one guy charge it and pin it. So he would have to fight that one like dinky model, and I was like, "Cool, dump all your attacks into it. I don't care.
Yeah, kill it.
Yeah, doesn't matter to me." But then I got my guys, everyone spread out, so I had at least 1, sometimes 2 models in each quadrant. Won the game of 3 rounds. It was really fun.
Nice.
But I like that about Warcry is that I look at it like, "Oh, you've got the big monster. This is going to be tough.
Yeah.
You've got better movement. This is going to be tough." Like, no, I just got to play for the objective.
Yes.
Right. It was a good time. So.
Warcry is a huge objective-based game, and you can lose sight of it and lose really easy.
I'd say victory conditions, not necessarily objectives, right? Because it's not like go camp the objective.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's go pick up the chest and try and run away.
Yeah.
Which I love those ones, by the way. Unless they have a flying unit.
Yeah.
I think those rules need to be if you grab it, you can't fly anymore.
Right.
And you reduce down to 6 inches max movement. But anyway, that was my battle.
Nice. All right. So that's it. It's time for
The
Lord.
Bill Show.
Yeah. It's time for the Nova recap. And oh my flippin' Lord. What a show. What a flippin' show. So start off with, I just want to throw a huge shout out to Matt Tucker and Justin Dement for putting on the narrative and just the amount of work they put into making every table's worth of terrain for 16 tables?
Yeah.
20 tables? Having each one of them have its own mission, its own scoring, its own everything, and then have all those storylines for every one of those boards be on a map of the area and the fights actually mattering to the overall flow of the campaign is just so well done. Just crazy good stuff.
I like it.
Also want to throw out a huge thanks to Matt,
Stormcaster, cool.
who, because of the way my travel schedule worked out, I could not bring an army, even though I was registered for the narrative. But since I had back-to-back travel, there was no way I was going to be able to bring an army across several different airports throughout the world. Matt went ahead and brought a Stormcast army for me to use.
Love it.
I did too.
Stormcaster, cool.
Oh my gosh, it was so, because I brought my Warcry warband and everything, and I figured I would just get games of Warcry in
Okay.
to do something at the event rather than just hang around. And nope, I had an army to play, and that was awesome. Two things, however. Like I said, my flight was really delayed on the way in, so I actually missed the first game. I slept through the first game.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
party foul, Bill.
I didn't get back to the room until 4 a.m. and the game started at 10, and I was just between jet lag and having traveled for many, many hours. Yeah, was not waking up for nothing. But again, it was the narrative thing. Really didn't matter. Got in there for the next game. Next morning, 8 o'clock, when my do not disturb on my phone goes off, my phone just starts going ping, 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 ping. And I mean, it's an endless cacophony of, you got message, you got mail, you've got a message. And someone had gotten my credit card.
Oh, shit.
And there was
Crap.
120 charges on my credit card. And it literally took like 4 hours to go through everything with the bank to get all those turned off and undone. And it was funny. I have that card. That's the card I carry with me all the time, and it's hooked directly to my account. It's a debit card, MasterCard debit card thing, but I have a limit of $400. I can't spend more than $400 on it without putting in my special code.
Interesting. Okay.
So the first
code
thing
is
it's a string of numbers. There's 5 of them. Yeah. The first thing that whoever it was tried to buy was like a $2,000 TV. And you can tell they were pretty good at this. They started at high-end stuff and then started moving down until they found out where the limit was. And then they just started flogging that limit everywhere. So they must have been at a mall or something.
You'd have to operate that quickly and
Yeah.
go to that many stores.
Yeah.
Unless they were doing it online.
No, because they started doing the online stuff after they got back from the mall.
Oh.
Because there was like a half-hour break, and then the online stuff started.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Which actually was really, really dumb, because when they started doing the online stuff, they were tracked by IP. So the credit card people started putting calls out to the police. So they may be spoofing their IP, which they probably are if they're really good at this stuff. But if they're amateurs, the IP is going to lead the cops right to their house. So
I don't know, man.
So
Seems amateurish. The way it was being handled.
maybe, I don't know. I don't. All I know is as long as they backed out but the problem there was had to shut off my card.
Yep.
Which they actually shut off my card after about the 15th or 20th purchase, because they knew something was up. But then they just kept flogging it everywhere else, and some of those places that don't check online live, which I don't know why you would not do that, but some of them took for stuff.
Oof.
So, but anyway, that was my day 2. Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. Also,
So this was actually your battle section, is what it sounds like.
yeah,
Bill.
that was my personal battle. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Not. So also want to throw a shout out to Mike Allen, who was being his normal self and just being one of the best people ever. hooking me up with dice and rulers and all the other miscellaneous stuff you really need to play the games. Yeah, super good. Got to hang out with, Aaron Boston, of course, the all-father of narrative, the guy that started up the Nova narrative and then passed it off to, Matt and Justin. But getting to hang out with him for 3-4 days was awesome. And, of course, Nuno Martins was there, Paul Connie was there, just all the names you know and love in narrative were all there. And we were having a great flipping time. So I got to throw a really big shout out to Emma Mangles, who was helping out with all of the AOS championship stuff, to include like commenting on the streams and, just jumping in to do everything, and also narrating. She was also doing the narrative stuff.
Nice.
So the way the narrative was scheduled, we had one game at 10 in the morning, one game at 5 in the evening. So you could basically do the con and still do the narrative events.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, she would do the championship stuff all during the day. And then at 5 o'clock, she'd show up for the narrative stuff. It was just amazing. Her days were full. So to be mild. So,
oh, the energy of youth.
Yeah, I tell you what, it must be nice. Whew. I got to say the vendors were the typical Nova vendors. They're shoehorned into all the different little nooks and crannies. And, you had Table War was there. Just all the companies that you really expect. Dan with Tectonic Craft Studios was there. He actually hooked me up. I hooked him up. He hooked me up. He gave me a really cool Legion carrying tray.
Yeah.
So really nice. It just, oh man, it was so cool. I gave him my Kill Team starter box that came with the Supernova bag, because I really didn't want to have another one and transport it all the way back to New Mexico in my already overstuffed luggage. But I also got the cool Nova Open KR backpack. That was really nice. I'm loving that.
Awesome.
So, yeah. What else? Okay, so as far as games played goes, I had 3 phenomenal games.
Walk us through them.
My first game was, against Renee. We were playing on the mushroom board, and funnily enough, she had the mushroom board.
What's the mushroom board, Bill?
Okay, so the mushroom board is, well, I'll get into that. She had Gloomspite Gets, I had Stormcast. So you pretty much knew what was going to happen. It was such a bloody mess. So the setup for this game was completely free for all. You can set up anywhere on the board 12 inches away from the enemy.
Okay.
So we started setting up in these parabolas, basically just grabbing flanks. And it actually became a pretty normal setup, except for the fact that it was completely curved. And it got super crazy. One of the main rules on this board was at the top of every turn, you nominated a unit and rolled a die. On a 5 or a 6, they would get some bonuses. On a 3 or 4, nothing would happen. On a 1 or a 2, that unit became allied to the other guy and became their unit for that entire turn. Both player turns. Every turn, we both rolled a 1 or a 2. So we were swapping units. It was hilarious. So the first unit I nominated, because there was also a deal that if you nominate the same unit twice, they were going to take 2d6 mortal wounds, but they were going to get some sort of benefit for the rest of the con.
Okay.
So I wanted the concussors to have something cool. So I nominated the concussors first. She gets them. Her first turn, she immediately turns on the other unit of concussors and just deletes them. And I'm like, oh, I hate you. I ended up getting her, what were they, the Darksworn trolls? Or what? No, they were the Winter Trolls. So I used that unit to delete another unit of her trolls. So, I mean, it was just, this was the kind of the way the battle was going to go.
Yeah.
We were just trading units back and forth, and I really wanted to do Karzai the Scared, but I'm like, I really don't want him turning on me. I really don't want him. But, yeah, so we fought one of the bloodiest games ever. I mean, I had Annihilators dropping down with the Lord Impertinent, and I mean, just charging things and deleting things and then getting deleted.
Yep.
You know, it was nuts, and it was crazy fun. Just to even try to describe the battle would be silly, because it was just this mishmash, and there were little fights everywhere because of the way we set up. And it was just a blast. We're about halfway through the game, and we're like, what are the objectives? Wait a minute. How do we win? And there's no, like, do this to win on the sheet. And we're just like, I wonder if it's just all about the mushrooms. So, of course, we double down on, the units for the mushrooms. And, of course, we always were trading units. So it was just a free-for-all. Karzai the Scared he was just doing work. And then he just got work done to him as everybody turned around. And the two Bounder Squigs just decided to say, no, that's it. We have to stop this fella. And oh man, what a fight for the ages that was.
You said, was it two Mangler Squigs, the big ones?
Manglers, Mangler Squigs, yes.
Holy crap. I love Manglers.
Oh, it was just, and just the whole idea that not only is this whole game random, but her random movement and random everything it just played into it. The game was so much stupid fun. It was... It's one of those where if you're like one of those real serious players and you're trying to analyze every aspect, your mind would have exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have died.
So was there any win condition?
No, the whole idea was you either survive and get out of that board, or you just eat the mushrooms and go, whatever, and get some benefit for the rest of the game. So that was the goal of that board, was to just get buffed up for the remainder of the game. And I was unwilling to take that concussor unit because by the time I got it back, he didn't have 2d6 worth of mortal wounds. So
that sounds like so much fun.
It was nuts.
I love it because it's almost non sequitur, right? And it's really only something you can do in a narrative type environment, right? I bet most people who'd be playing that be like, what do you mean I can't win?
Yeah.
Like, no, I mean, that's not the point of this board. But I don't understand.
But no, how do I win the game? How many rounds to win? And yeah, that was not the point. We really just played that game until we were tired of playing that game.
Yep.
And then just called it. So, but it was just so much fun. Crazy, crazy game. And Renee was just so much. We were having a grand old time. And the beauty of this game is it starts at 10 and we have until 5 to the next game. So we could just literally sit back. I mean, at one point we broke for lunch. Yeah, what the hell? We broke for dinner. Excuse me. And just who cares? It doesn't matter. So then next day dawns and I get to play against Evelyn, who is 16 years old that day.
Yeah.
So that was her sweet 16th birthday. And what did she want from her parents for her 16th birthday? Tickets to Nova.
There you go.
So you immediately get the idea that you're not playing your average teenager.
No.
This girl is serious. And she's got a Nurgle army with a custom Radagast that was just gorgeous. I mean, just so well done. Completely customized. Her Great Unclean one was customized. Most of her army was customized and just beautifully painted. Really, really well done. Super well done. And shout out to Evelyn because she knew her army inside and out. She knew the rules, everything inside and out. No questions, no hang-ups, no.
Must be nice to be a teenager and have all that time on your hands.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, I mean, it was
good
just
for her.
Oh yeah, fantastic opponent. I knew it was going to be because I know her, and but it was Nurgle against Stormcast at the 8 points. Now this board was crazy because we were both terrified. The gate in the middle. Just imagine one of the AOS, portals, the Baleful Realm gates.
Yeah.
But tweak it up to where it's like 2 foot tall.
Holy crap.
But the actual feet of it aren't really that much. They're maybe twice as wide. So we were terrified we were going to knock that thing over.
Yeah.
So, but from it had the 8 chains. And the 8 chains led to these pillars. And each one was the pillar of Shaman, the pillar of this, the pillar of, one of the realms.
Yeah.
And each one of the pillars had a bonus for your army if you were within 6 inches of it. And obviously there's going to be 8 of them on a board for AOS. You're going to be within range of more than one.
Yep.
So lots of benefits flying around, but also you could destroy these portals if you wanted to either prevent your opponent from getting them. In my case, I didn't want to destroy them because I wanted to hopefully take them.
Okay.
That did not work out well. So, and then they had a thing where if at any point in the game a person controlled all 8, we had to stop the game and call them over because something was going to happen. And that did happen in our game, but it happened after our game was over, so who cares? I wasn't alive to figure it out. So, yeah, foreshadowing a little bit. So that was a game that, in that game, I swapped out my army list a little bit. And again, this is narrative. Nobody really minded that I was changing the army as I went because I didn't want the Lord Impertinent and the Annihilators. They're not my play style, really.
Okay.
So swap them out for Praetors and Andrasta.
All right.
Which I did, to be fair, I did that before I knew I was playing Evelyn with the Great Unclean Ones. So that was a rude awakening to her that all of her monsters were 10 wounds when you're figuring out what they do.
Yep.
So, because at one point, she ended up charging Rodigus into Karzai. And yeah, that was not pretty.
No.
Rodigus is not a melee. He's not a combat monster.
No, he's not.
No.
Interestingly enough.
He found out.
Yeah.
He found out. But what got me in that game was the poison. We actually set up, as we alternated setup, it looked seriously like we were both going hard for our respective left flanks. And it just turned into this horrible mosh pit of Blight Kings, Plague Bearers, Vindictors. Karzai went over there. My custom monster went over there. And it was just a meat grinder. And the problem with a meat grinder is she had the poison.
She had the attrition.
The disease working on her favor.
Yep.
And, it's just, you got to watch that. The poison disease is devastating. Once you get all 7 on you, even with good saves, you're going to take some wounds here and there. And, Stormcaster multi-wounds models, but over time, it just wore them out.
Nurgle almost always wins the attrition battle.
Yeah, and that was it, is I should not have, at a certain point in that game where the wheel went to where I couldn't pile in on that turn, that should have been my turn to get Karzai out of there, just to retreat him.
Yeah.
So that I could, but honestly, I was fighting up against the last of the Blight Kings, and my thought was once I get rid of that, the Plague guys are just going to fall to his tail.
Yep.
And so I stuck in, and I should have gotten out. The smart me said, get out. The narrative me said he wouldn't leave a fight like that, not when he's ready to chew the last one up. So
I agree with you.
So he stayed, and he died. So I got double turned. Oof. So, but I had double turned her the turn before, so it was, it was fair. So yeah, that was a bloody, bloody game, but it ended up with me getting tabled. So she got all 8, and yeah, bad things happened campaign wide. So that was what allowed, I believe it allowed Be'lakor to come into the game. So he was able to come through the game.
Huh.
Yeah. So yeah, needless to say, I wasn't everyone's favorite person after that.
You were playing narrative, Bill.
Exactly. So, and that was the whole thing. I don't care. So then we go into the siege on Saturday.
This is it.
Oh my flippin' God. So I'm just going to say, go to the Discord, watch the video. It is 25 feet of some of the best painted fortification terrain. And this is one solid wall. And then the rules for the siege, it was 12 on 12.
Oh my God.
And Nuno Martins and I set up so that we knew we would be facing each other. And then Paul Conti just got right on the other side so that we could actually have the fight we've wanted to have for a couple of years. So it was his Night Haunt up against my Stormcast again. And the rules for the siege were, we took an hour to set up, and then there was an hour-long break for dinner so that we could film anybody that wanted to take pictures or film. And GW came in and filmed it and because it was epic to see all these armies lined up.
Yeah.
On these, one on top of the wall and just behind it, and the other one charging it. It's epic. Just go watch the video. Wow. And then the way it works from that point on, every turn is 30 minutes. Your turns are not respective of the person's next to you. So you might be in the battle shock phase while they're still shooting. It doesn't matter. At 30 minutes, it's dice down, tally up the scores.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so you literally have to play fast if you want to have, all your combats get in. And in fact, in the very first turn, Nuno and I both forgot that I had dropped guys behind the wall. And so it was a wash. We both forgot, but oops, we could have done a lot more damage to each other.
Yeah.
But the walls had damage points and ward saves. And the whole idea for our side, the attackers, was to bring down wall sections so that we could get into a fight. And on the first turn, I was able to use Karzai the Scared to bring down a wall section. And then the next turn, Vandus Hammerhand brought one down. So I had a nice open lane. In fact, I let the guy right next to me bring his Ogre Maw tribes through the holes I made because he was having trouble making holes in the walls. So it just turned into it was a bloody mess. And every turn, you could bring back one destroyed unit.
Oh.
For a command point, you could bring back 2. But if you bring back 2, it would be points to the other side.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it would be victory points. So on one of the turns I brought, 2 turns I brought back 2 units. On one turn I had to bring back Karzai because he was my wall buster. Only monsters and gargantuans could hurt the wall.
Figures.
Regular guys, yeah, obviously. And of course, cavalry can't go up on the wall, but everybody else can garrison it. So at one point, I had Indrast up on top of the wall just fighting skeletons because that was fun.
Because, yes,
And she
that's
was
epic.
Murdering them.
Yes.
And, he's trying to bring his boat around his black coach, which he's done up as a boat because he's gone hardcore into that sea theme. And, I mean, it was just the fight was phenomenal. And I think by the second time, Nuno and I were to the point to where we were just jamming through it. We were doing our turns in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And we were nailing it. And it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. And you would think 12 people on a side, all different skill levels up and down, all this craziness of bringing units back and doing whatever you want to do and yada, 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 that it would actually start to turn into a runaway. Our side lost by, I think, 4 victory points. I think it was 168 to 164.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was just nuts. It was a crazy, fun, amazingly well scripted, well run. The whole idea was to have it over by 11. And I think we did dice down in the last round at like 11:07. And then, we did awards and everything else. So it turned into a late night. But I mean, it was just, the siege battle was beyond. It was so amazing. It was fun.
And if only I didn't bring back those 2 units, Bill.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, really. Some of the other people did too. What was really bad was at one point I felt like I was getting the upper hand on Nuno, and I was like, I might be able to make some real gains here and get some real points. And Paul Conti took, I think, a unit of 2 Blight Kings, just threw them into the back of my lines, and I was like, crap. And
Jerk.
The way those poured out mortal wounds, it was, oh my lord, holy crap. But yeah, it was such a fun game. We had a blast. And the best part is Paul's fighting his fight, but he's got the unit over here. So at certain points he would just look over and go, 7 mortal wounds. And I'd be like, damn it. And then I would kill one of his models and I'd be like, take that one off. It was just so much fun. So much fun. So I want to throw another few shout outs. I want to shout out Nuno, who got the best player award at the narrative. Incredibly well deserved. He literally invented a new faction that they didn't have at the start of the game and then made it a thing to where it actually won the narrative. So I'm like, that's cool.
Is it Ghost Pirates? Is that what he was doing?
Yeah. Well, he was actually supporting Umberspire, which wasn't an actual faction. This was Gordrak versus what's his name, Be'lakor.
Uh-huh.
But he made Umberspire such a thing and had so many people fighting on his side that they actually became the 3rd power in the game.
Oh wow!
And Justin and Matt just worked it in. They just weaved it in, and it was like, okay, that was so cool. So yeah, Nuno definitely got the best player award for that. I already shouted out Mike Allen. He's just such a great guy. And he just signed up to be a patron too. So
Thanks, Mike.
right while I was there. Yep. We had a few signups from the show from different folks I talked to.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah. Just shout out for the tables and all the work that Matt and Justin put into it. It was so much fun. And narrative being what it was, they just basically had to make it all up on the fly. So, and other shout outs, I want to throw one out to the guys from the Dice Like Ice podcast. Seriously, check it out. I've listened to a couple of their shows now. It's really good. They're getting off the ground, getting jiggy with it, and it's a good show. They cover all GW pretty much miniature stuff. They don't really throw in for any one system. Cool. Yeah. And got to see Brian Orban again, who has been absent for a few years. Not a lot of people know Brian, but he was a huge impact to the last Nova narrative, and then he just kind of burned out. He goes 8,000% into stuff. But then it just got to him and he just completely pulled back. But he showed up again and he was like, yep. He's totally into 3D printing now. So, and of course, Aaron Bastian and, all the whole crew, Sean McAfee, brushforhire.com is his usual self. And he had his Lord of Butterflies there in the Capital Palette. I think it won a silver. I mean, I know I'm biased, but that thing should have. Anyway, yeah. So it was beautiful. Some of the models that won at Capital Palette were incredibly well deserving and just, oh my God, that Capital Palette. Sometimes, you look at these collections of models and there's a few in there that you're like, how'd that get in? Or why did he enter that?
Yeah.
And in this one, it was like, oh my God, every single model was wow. And the ones that won were just over the top. I mean, the freehand on the Imperial Knight was, it was a museum quality piece painted on an Imperial Knight. It's just, good Lord, people. But, that's what the Vinces of the world do. So, other than that, that's kind of Nova. It was an amazing time. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would do it every third weekend. I told Josh earlier that I have to lose weight before the next one of these because, oh my God, it was starting to get to me. But yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, we start at 4 a.m., Bill. Planet Fitness just down the road.
Yeah. I actually have a Planet Fitness in my sunroom. So that's what really makes me mad is it's not like I have to go anywhere to exercise.
Sometimes that's what makes it harder.
Here.
But hey, we'll talk about that after dark.
There you go.
And so something important to the show kind of came out of this, Bill, right?
Yes.
Based off of your conversations with listeners and sort of the direction I think we're going to be taking the show in a significant way.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, after dinner with some of the Neon crew, kind of talked to Josh, and what we're going to do is a series. We're not going to not cover what comes out, if an AOS book comes out, we're obviously going to do that.
Yep.
But we're going to do a series of shows on how to put together a narrative event.
Yes. And narrative events of all shapes and sizes, right? Whether it's just a few friends getting together every week or two to, move a path to glory forward, or, oh Lord, it's a major event with 20 to 40 plus people getting together for, interactive story.
Yep.
And then it's going to be getting into a bunch of different concepts. We've already got a rough outline kind of set up there, looking at, again, size, what sort of the narrative concept is, looking at what your resources are and how that's going to affect what you can put together, execution on it, building special rules. Is there a special way to score, or are there particular types of terrain that, you want to make sure that you have? Building your own pack, from when you're assessing all of these things, how do I do it, right? The twists and turns of doing that as well. Whether you have prize support, it's kind of weird to do for a narrative thing, but if you have like the voted best, like coolest player award, whatever they
Sure.
call it.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to have at least a best painted.
Yeah.
Like I say in my LVO pack, we're not going to do a sportsman award because you're in a narrative campaign. I expect everybody to be a good sportsman.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there are ways you can kind of reward people for the effort that they're putting into it.
Exactly. Look at all the extra things too, like even down to the nitty gritty. Do you allow god monsters in?
Yeah.
Do you make them use Anvil of Apotheosis to create their warlords and give them a limited amount of points, right? There's so many different ways to handle it, but we're going to go through and just really dig down deep into each one of these, and it's going to create a series. And, then what we'll do is after we cover everything, then we get to the end, we're like, all right, how do you put it together?
Yeah. How do you?
Right.
And another one of the goals of this, and Nuno is going to be really happy about this, is the idea we're probably going to transcribe these episodes into articles for the We Are the Neon website.
Okay.
So there will be, a historical record of this that does not require you to have to listen to us again.
Hold on, I think I bookmarked it at hour 7:24, and it's Bill just going like, I can't believe they didn't ship my product. Like, nope, that wasn't that right
No,
one.
that was After Dark. Sorry.
So, no, I mean, it'll be great to be able to have those resources out there. I'm looking forward to this as a long-term project for the podcast.
Yeah.
Something that we can give back to the community on, particularly since we tend to be more narrative focused. I mean, just looking at the games we even play, I'm heavy into Necromunda. We both like AOS narrative primarily.
Yeah.
30K, all of it, right? Warcry. Gosh.
Yeah.
Warcry is such a good narrative product.
Oh my gosh.
But
yes.
yeah, that's where we're going, folks. And so I hope that you're on board. If you are, buckle up.
Yeah, and I put a section on the Discord for not just questions to the host, but questions from the host. Already got some really interesting feedback on things to cover that I hadn't even thought of. So yeah, go figure. And some really good ideas of concepts to talk about. So yay. Loving that. And I'm kind of really loving the whole idea of, it's one thing to have an idea for a narrative event, but then translating that into a real event for you and your friends to play, it can become daunting and it can become really crazy. And we've all seen it where somebody has this great idea for a narrative campaign, but there's so many things that go into it that it goes off the rails really quick.
Yeah.
And hopefully this will help prevent that, because you'll have a plan going in for how to handle runaway players, how to handle a scoring system that didn't work the way you thought it was going to and is leading to weirdness. So how to recover from all these things. So,
yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun as we go through this journey together. I think it'll be a lot of fun when we start putting it all together at the very end.
yeah.
And seeing how all these concepts coalesce, congeal, and create
And yeah,
your narrative.
we'll probably create a in-store event right there on one of the episodes, and we'll just basically go from concept through execution through how are we going to do these different things, and literally come up with something on that show, not pre-done. Well, we're going to pre-do it because we don't want to look like fools thinking about and arguing about what to do, but we'll actually show how the development process goes.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you do have the structure in mind, even if you build your own checklists and stuff like that, you can throw down a narrative pretty quick. So there's a lot of things we hope that you'll be able to get out of this. So that way, not only are you able to get more out of your narrative experience, but make it more efficient, more enjoyable for you and for everyone. So we're going to put those tools in your toolbox.
Yep. Indeed. And, I do want to have one quick go back. Another shout to Justin and Matt for the way they did your custom hero for the narrative. You created a hero from the Anvil of Apotheosis, and it was already a gargantuan monster. And on day one, you got 15 points to beef up your monster and make it cool. Or was it 20? I think it was 20. But you had to pay for the base. Like for the Stormcast, it was 10 right off the top.
Yeah.
For him. But you just followed those rules. But after that point, you just ignored the rest. And then every day you got 5 more points to spend. So rather than having to go through all that bookkeeping crap of what did he do? Did he do this? And how many points did he get? No, none of that. Every day you get 5 points. And it just made it super simple. And the first 5 minutes of every day, everybody was just sitting there writing down what they added to their monster or their custom hero. And it just, that worked so smooth. Such a bright idea. Such a great way to just do things and make it easier when you're in the moment. Because you really don't want people to have to sit around and do paperwork for 25 minutes after every game. That's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, in that environment, that's not what you're wanting to do, right? But the more traditional D&D 3.5 ed, who love being accountants and lawyers and pushing paperwork, there's a narrative for you too.
Yeah.
And so we're going to cover all those different styles as well. And I think that's important to understand what exactly your narrative is supposed to be structured like, so that way you understand who's going to be involved in this style of narrative, how many people can I get, and what type of timeline and time investment am I looking at, not just for setting it up, but also for the actual playing of the game. Because if you're going to be doing your bookkeeping at the end, you got to factor in another probably about 15 to 20 minutes.
Easy, yeah.
So it's probably going to be more of a longer term campaign process than an event, right? Yeah. So all that's going to be major topics for us to talk about.
Yeah.
That we will talk about, and hopefully give you everything you need to enjoy your narrative a little bit more.
Yep. So is we is?
I think we is.
I think we is. So stay tuned next time, which if nothing crazy comes out for AOS, we will probably kick off the narrative story.
And I'm looking forward to it. But I think that's what does it for today. This has definitely been the Bill Show. And so for those of you who are with us on Patreon, we'll see you soon after Bill.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us at our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad. Our individual Twitters are, for me, at Bill Castello, BILLCASTELLO. And for Josh, you can reach him at Anoyo, ANOYOE. All the guests on the show will have their contact information in that show's show notes. The music in the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and is used under the Creative Commons license. The Rolling Bad podcast itself is protected under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Information for this license can be found at creativecommons.org.